Now, before we start this video, you are going to notice there is something in my nose. I did not notice it when I was on recording. Once I started editing, I did see it. It is very, very, very embarrassing, but we're just going to call it our co-host for today. I'm sorry. I'm sick. I'm sorry. Just try to ignore it. And I'm so sorry. It's so embarrassing, but I wanted to beat you to it before you pointed it out in the comments. So let's jump into this video.
Hello everyone, Bird Lady Speaks here, coming to you guys with a quick video. And in this video here, if you clicked on it, obviously you're thinking about getting chicks or thinking about getting more chicks. As we all know, chick days are practically here. They will be in the big box stores in about 2 to 3 weeks, and the hatcheries have already started taking orders online. So yeah, chick days are here. So these are just some of the things that I wish I would have known and considered before I got chicks, and I think that are very, very important for you to consider before you get chicks or before you add chicks to your already existent flock if you have one. And this is not an end-all be-all list. This is just some of the first things, the top things that came to my mind. And if you're watching this video and you think of anything else, please drop it in the comment section below. So let's jump right into it. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If this is not your first time, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you do decide to join the family and stay by hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and of course, ringing that bell. Now, I always have to let you guys know that this is a very diverse channel. This is what I call a variety channel. We talk about all types of things on this channel, from my Christian walks to my chickens, my homestead, sourdough, gardening, whatever. We talk about all types of things, but the bulk of the information that I talk about is my flock here and gardening and homesteading. So obviously you're here for the chicken center video, so make sure you do turn on that notification bell and check out that chicken playlist, because I'm pretty sure there's something else there for you. Chick days are here, and I think it's going to be like it's been the last couple of years. Like, I had to stand in line like 2 to 3 hours just to get chicks last year. I got a lot of them, but that's because I stood in line for them. I had to order them online, everything. So chickens are becoming like the Lysol and toilet paper epidemic of 2020. People are panic buying chickens right now. And one thing that I noticed being in a lot of chicken groups last year is people panic bought chickens because the price of eggs had escalated because of the avian flu and the poultry plants just spontaneously combusting. Yeah, no conspiracy theorist brain off. Poultry plants catching on fire. It was like a point in time you couldn't even find chicken wings anywhere. So people are once again being afraid of the wars and the rumors of wars that are going on. And I believe this year is going to be another year where people are going to start to panic buy chickens again. One thing I noticed last year is people panic bought chickens, but they got themselves in a situation where they had to get rid of those chickens because they were not prepared what all came along with, owning chickens. It can be relatively easy, but if you've never done it before, it can be quite a shock. It was a shock for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But with our food system being so fragile, I think every family in America should have at least 3 to 4 chickens, and also have like even if it's just a small container garden, just grow some. So the first thing, so let me just jump into it because I can go on all day. So let me just jump into it. Now, the first thing I would suggest is make sure you know your regulations, your city ordinances, and your laws, because some towns and cities and HOAs will allow you to have chickens, but you can only have about 3 to 4, and you cannot have roosters. Even if you can have roosters, some of them you have to be a certain amount of feet away from a walkway or your neighbors or a fence. So make sure you don't want to spend the time putting up this nice chicken run or this nice chicken coop just to have to move it or either get rid of your chickens because you're out of compliance. So make sure you know the laws and the city ordinances not just in your city or your state, but also if you live in an HOA. If you're a part of an HOA, make sure you know the laws and the ordinances there well, because you can have them in your city or your town, but your HOA may say something completely different. So just make sure that you actually know those laws first and foremost if you can even have chickens. I suggest if you live in an area where you can have chickens but you can't have roosters, go with an auto sexing breed. You'll have a better chance of getting what you want, like black sex links, barred rocks, cream leg bars, what else? Bielefielders. These are auto sex chickens, meaning that at birth you know if it's going to be a male or a female. And do your research, because people will try to get over there, know that it's a male, but they'll still try to gyp you. So do your research for yourself. Next thing you want to do, once you know the city ordinances in your state, is just sit down for a moment before you go and jump up and get chicks. Sit down for a moment and consider and think of the reason that you want chickens. Do you want chickens for meat? Do you want chickens for eggs? Do you want chickens for egg colors? Exhibition type chickens so that you can enter them in these contests and make money? Do you want them for dual purpose, for eggs and meat? Or do you want them as pets? Or do you want a chicken that is all of the above in one chicken? You know, the quinfecta in one chicken. So consider that. If you go into it knowing what you want, you're less likely to get hit by chicken math. You're going to get hit by it, but you're less likely to get hit as hard when you go into it with a purpose. When you're buying chickens, don't just buy chickens to buy them, unless you just want pets, but go into it with a purpose. Know what you're looking for and research your breeds. Research what breeds are good for your climate and everything. Usually if you're getting your chickens from a local farm store or Tractor Supply or Royal King or anything like that, they're usually going to have breeds that do well in any climate. So you should be okay with that. But if you're ordering like specialty breeds, make sure you do research. The next thing would be is to count up the cost. Count up the cost. People say, I need to get my own chickens so I can have my own eggs because eggs are $7 a dozen. It will never be cheaper to keep your own chickens than it is to buy eggs out of the store. Now, when you first this is what gets a lot of people. When they first buy chickens, they see the little chicks. Now, what gets you first is the little tweaking, the little peeping at the store. When you hear that peep, man, all your inhibitions are just gone. They're just gone. Your guard is down. You hear that peep, you're stuck. You're going to buy chickens if you hear that peep. Trust me, you are. What gets people is those chickens are usually relatively cheap to buy. The least amount that I paid for a chick is $2.50. So you can walk out with 10 chicks for $25. Okay, that's fine. But you have to think. You have to have a whole brooder set. The brooder set that I found, and this is not the actual brooder itself, but just the lamp holder, the bulb, the shavings. You're gonna look at probably about $75 just with your brooder setup, and that's on the low end. About $75 with everything. Then you have to get feed. So feed, if you're getting feed, I recommend a local supplier. I buy my feed from a local supplier. The reason that I recommend that is it is made a lot fresher. It's made locally, and it's a lot cheaper because when I first started buying feed, I bought it from a big box store where I got my chicks, and I paid like $25 to $30 for one bag of feed. Now that I buy it from the farm store locally, I pay $12.50 for one bag of feed, and for corn I paid $10 for that when I was paying $20. So I can get 2 bags for the price of one, well, less than the price of one. So you have to get feed for them. You have to get your bedding. You have to get your waterers. You have to get your feeders. You have to get your runs. You have to get your coops. It's so much that you have to get that it'll never be cheaper it's expensive to keep chickens. It really is, especially in the beginning. I see a lot of people when they got their first egg this year, they was like, I got my first egg and it only cost me $3,000. So unless you're selling eggs on a large scale, it'll never be more expensive it'll never be less expensive to keep eggs than it is to buy eggs out of the store. The reward is not monetary when you have your own chickens and you have your own eggs. It's not, if you're looking to save money, it's just you get healthier eggs, you get better eggs. You know where your food is coming from. You don't know what these chickens are being fed. You don't know what's going into them. You don't know what kind of chemicals are being used to clean the eggs. You just don't know how long those eggs have been sitting out. You just don't know. So the reward from keeping keeping your own chickens is not a monetary reward unless you're selling eggs on a large scale or selling chicks on a large scale. So it can be expensive to start. I'm going to jump right into this next one here. Predators. Everything out there wants to eat your chickens. Snakes, raccoons, possum, minks, bobcats, panthers, stray dogs. coyotes, everything wants to eat your chickens. So you have to be able to predator proof your runs or your coop. Never have a run without hardware cloth. And hardware cloth is expensive. It really is, but it will save your flock because Ginger, she's better with the chickens now, but when she's a very reactive dog. One day she got loose and she ran straight for my chicken runs. Ginger is 95 pounds now. 95 pounds. If there was not hardware cloth, she would have went straight through this chicken wire. Chicken wire is for keeping your chickens in, but hardware cloth is for keeping predators out, keeping everything else out. Let me say it again. Chicken wire is the sole purpose of keeping your chickens in. It will not keep predators out. Hardware cloth will keep predators out. You can go years and years and years and years and not have a problem, but eventually there will be a problem with some type of predator, and hardware cloth is going to be the difference between life and death. I have seen so many posts and pictures of people who have had their runs completely destroyed, and it's usually around the bottom where the hardware cloth should have been. So don't skin. It's expensive, but it's even more expensive emotionally, mentally, if you lose your entire flock. That I can't imagine anybody going through that. Anybody going through that. So save yourself some heartache, save yourself some trouble, and just get the hardware cloths up front. Another thing, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, I'm sorry. Another thing is, even when it comes to eggs, just know that your chickens will fluctuate with their laying. I staggered my chickens, so I haven't had really too much of a decrease in eggs, but I have so many eggs anyway. Even if everybody stopped laying right now, I will still have enough eggs to last me for months and even be able to sell and give something away. So you're gonna put all this money into your chickens. You're gonna get the runs. You're gonna get the brooders. You're gonna get everything you need. You're gonna get the runs. You're gonna feed them. It's gonna be a good 4 to 6 months, depending on the breed, before you even get your first egg. So you're gonna go months and months with feeding these chickens, housing these chickens, clean up after these chickens, watering these chickens, and you may not get your first egg for at least the first 16 weeks. So 4 to 6 months before you even get your first egg. The laying fluctuates. They stop laying when they're molting. They stop laying when it's cold, when the days get shorter. They stop laying. Like, I'm changing around some of the runs, and some of my chickens just completely stop laying because they weren't used to the new run. They're getting adjusted. So stress can actually cause them to stop laying. Now, when my chickens slow down laying, I did do some things to just get them to lay, but I stopped doing that because however many eggs your chickens are going to lay, that's determined at birth. However many eggs your chickens are going to lay, it's determined at birth. So you cannot make them lay more eggs. You can cause them to lay more frequently. But what I started doing, I just stopped. If my chickens decide to stop laying, they've laid so much during the summer. This is a well-deserved rest for them. So I no longer try to, hey girl, I no longer try to force my chickens to lay when they're not laying. When they're not laying, I just let them rest, because what that does is that gives their reproductive system a rest. That does actually prolong their life. If you just keep pushing them to lay and forcing them to lay and lay and lay and lay, they're gonna give out within a couple of years. They're just gonna give out within a couple of years. So you actually shorten their life by putting all that stress and strain on their reproductive system. Chickens should be able to rest. Now, going back to chicken math. Chicken math is a real thing. It is real. Just to give an idea of how hard I've been hit by chicken math, I started with 6 chickens, 4 Rhode Island Reds, 2 cream leg bars. Now I have 156 chickens, and I'm about to hatch out 12 more chickens. Just know, whatever you think you want, prepare for, and I'm being completely serious, whatever you think you want, prepare for 3 to 4 times what you think you want. Now, I do have a video, or I am going to post a video on some ways to kind of get around chicken math. You can minimize the effects of chicken math, but everyone's going to be hit by it. It's just a part of keeping chickens. It's very, very addictive. And when you're someone like me, I have an addictive personality. So whatever I get into, I go head over heels with it. unless, you know, my husband or someone stops me, but I will go head over heels in it. And I'm a very impulsive type person. And a lot of people have gotten hit with chicken mouth really, really hard. And now they're trying to find ways to get rid of those chickens because they can't afford them. They don't have anywhere to house them. It's just way, way too much work for them. So, what I would say is just, again, go back to your why and just try to stay focused on your why and try to stay within a certain number. You're going to go over that number, but hopefully it won't be too bad, like me from 6 to 100 and I said one, like me from 6 to 152 in less than a year. Be ready for surprise roosters. Have a plan of what you're going to do with your roosters, because even when you go to the big box stores, I don't want to bash any stores. But there's this one store out there. It's like a running joke about it. You're pretty much not gonna get what they're just really not reliable when it comes to breeds and genders of chickens, sex of chickens. So they'll sell you like 10. Yeah, I guarantee you these are 10 pullets. I guarantee you. I know they are. Blah blah blah. And then you get home and you find out, you know, eventually those 10 pullets, 3 of them start crowing. So just be ready for surprise roosters, because it can happen. It can actually happen, not all the time on purpose, but sometimes just carelessness. And the people who work at some of these big box stores, they don't deal with chickens. They just sell what's there and they sell what they've been told. You know, so sometimes things are labeled wrong and they just don't know. So be prepared for surprise roosters. Once I read on a website that there is a 90% accuracy when it comes to sexing roosters. So there is a 10% chance that you may actually get a rooster. And just there are so many Facebook posts and group posts that I've seen where people are desperate to get rid of their roosters. I mean, just not even charging any money for them, like rehome them for free. Like, I will bring you this rooster, because they live in an area where they literally can't have roosters, or they have too many. And luckily for me, all my surprise roosters, I just let them out to free range if I'm not going to use them in any of my breeding programs. And when it comes, if you're buying chickens and it says straight run, that's more than likely going to be most roosters. Straight run means that they are unsexed. They are not sexed. And it's more than likely going to be a bunch of roosters that you're going to end up getting. If you see pullets, then that is supposed to be females. But make sure, if you just want females, that you strive for pullets, but be prepared to have some cockerels in there. Do not, if you know you cannot have roosters, do not get any chickens that say straight run, because you're mostly going to have more roosters than anything, at least one rooster. Some people with surprise roosters, they do decide to send them to freeze account, for lack of a better word. They decide to actually eat their roosters. We don't eat our chickens here. Not saying we never will, but as of right now, we have no desire to eat our chickens here. They're just here. But that's another thing that a lot of people do. They get straight run because they really don't care. They get straight run heritage breed because they know that, okay, if I have a rooster, all I have to do is just feed it meat bird, get some weight on it, and then I just butcher it. So that's one thing that you can do. I'm not a judge. You do what you do. Another thing is, they are noisy. Chickens are very, very noisy. I don't know, just growing up, we had this idea that roosters only crowed in the morning when the sun is coming up. Sometimes these roosters are out here crowing at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, they're out here crowing 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. It doesn't bother me. But like I said, people who aren't used to it, so if you live in an area where, like I said, HOA, and you can't have roosters, some people may complain, some people may file complaints against you because roosters can be really, really loud. Not even roosters, just the hens with their egg song. You know, when they lay an egg, they have this certain song there. And so they can get very loud. My Wales Summers, I think, are probably the loudest chickens that I have. They are very, very chattery. And it's just, they just, you know, they're very loud. But those right there are the geese. Do have a video on the quietest chicken breeds, so I'll link that for you down below. Another thing is just to know that you have to care for your chickens no matter what's going on. If you're sick, if you have to go out of town, if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sub-zero temperatures, you have to care for your chickens. There's no such thing as a day off. Now, I do have automatic waterers and automatic feeders for them, but there are still some things that I still have to do every single day for my chickens. When I go, I usually don't use the automatic feeders and waterers unless I'm going out. Well, automatic waterers, I use them every day. But when I go out of town, that's when I use the automatic feeders. I do have my dad. My dad will actually come down and check on them and feed them for me. But just keep in mind that there's not a day off when you have chickens. And if you go out of town, you need to make sure you have a plan and have someone come and look in at your chickens. Even if you have, what do you call it? Come on, think brain. Even if you have the automatic feeders in the waters, you still want someone to come down and check, make sure no one has gotten out, make sure, make sure everything is on the up and up. Depending on how long you're going to be gone, you may have someone collect the eggs for you, especially if it's cold, because eggs will crack in the cold. So you may want to have someone to do that for you. So just know that they're going to need just year-round, everyday care. And just remember, poop. Poop is a commodity for gardeners. Chicken poop is very expensive in the stores. What I do is, what I'm planning on doing this year is taking the chicken poop that has composted down throughout the summer, spring, throughout all this time, and just taking that and tilling it into my garden. So it is a commodity, but it gets everywhere. Like, I can clean these roosts and runs and the nesting boxes that morning, and they're full of poop again by noon, by the time I come to get eggs in that evening. So poop gets everywhere. Chickens poop everywhere. So these are just some things to consider if you're thinking about getting chickens. I do encourage everyone to get at least 3 or 4 chickens to have in a part of your flock. The eggs are amazing. They're amazing to watch. There's a lot that goes into it, but they pretty much take care of themselves once we do the basics. We give them food, water, we keep it clean. I get my chores done, my chicken chores done in the morning, and I really don't have to come back out and deal with them the rest of the day. It takes me about an hour. Sometimes if all the waters are full, it takes me about 45 minutes to get everyone fed, to get things hay put out, to get everything taken care of. It doesn't take me a lot of time, and the rest of the day they're fine. They pretty much take care of themselves, and I just have to come out in the evening and collect the eggs. Especially now that it's getting cold, I have to collect them, make sure I collect them every single day to keep them clean and to keep them from cracking from the cold. But I would not go back. I wouldn't go back. I now cannot imagine my life without my chickens. I can't. The eggs are absolutely amazing. I give them to my dogs. I give them to my dogs. I give them to loved ones, family members. I give them to, I sell some of them. I give them to church members. I myself eat about sometimes 6 to 8 eggs a day, depending on what all I'm eating in that day. So I eat a lot of eggs, and it does feel good to not have to go to the store and buy eggs. Instead I buy feed, but it does feel good not to have to buy eggs. But I recommend that anyone who can keep chickens. It's so rewarding. It is so rewarding. But there are some things to consider before you get them. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. As usual, remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you found this video useful, please share. I'm trying to get my views up. I'm pulling back from a lot of things that I do to be able to just give you more information that I find. And if you find this information useful, it's a free way that you can help out my channel and help me out by just sharing the video and encouraging others to watch, and you leaving a like and a comment on the video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And as usual, toodaloo, bye-bye.